Hey guys, welcome to the Skull Show. I'm your host Paxton. Today we will be looking at the Seahawks versus Vikings game preview. This is the first game preview of the year. This one's not really a preview because the previews are normally like predictions, stuff what I think's in game, looking at the starters. But this one's more of like players that I'm going to be watching this game. Also, stay tuned because tonight after the game, which is going to be pretty late, maybe around midnight, but I'll have a game review and we can just look at all these players, look how they did, if they even played. But I'm pretty sure most of these players played because obviously if they're playing, the people to watch would be JJ, Kirk, Hunter, all of them. But for this game, I did more of the younger players who will probably be playing. So yeah, this is the only segment for this episode, and it probably will be just for the whole preseason, just because I can't really make predictions because the other teams could start their whole team. They could just have backups in. I don't know. I haven't honestly really looked about the Seahawks, but I can research that really quickly. Seahawks preseason 2023. I'll just look if they have any news about it, but so just hold tight. Oh, it's not working. So I guess we're just gonna go with no predictions for the game, but I will go with people who were hurt for the Vikings, which is James Lynch is out for the year. I made a post on Instagram about that. Everyone go follow the Instagram. That'll be all the live updates that I post. Post a lot more in there. We got a few Vikings players to interact with it, which is actually pretty cool. But we have just injuries. TJ Hawkinson's questionable with the illness. So, I mean, I really hope he's back, and I really hope it's not a hold-in, but hopefully it really is just an illness instead of him being sick. And then also stay tuned because I'm probably going to film today, post in the upcoming days, bold predictions for this year, and I'll make sure to keep track of them this year. Last year we did for the predictions weekly. We're going to do every single week this season having predictions like for the individual games. So we'll get back into this video. Sorry we took a little bit of a break there, but we'll get into it. So the first player is Josh Oliver. So Josh Oliver, he's a new backup tight end we got from the Ravens. TJ Hawkinson won't be playing today, I would assume, with the illness and just obviously him being a starter, which last year Kevin O'Connell didn't start any meaningful players, really. Not that I can recall, at least. But Josh Oliver will be the first player on here. He's a really good run-blocking tight end. We know what we're going to get from that, but it's really just what I'm going to be looking for is his ability to catch passes, maybe make some big plays from Nick Mullins, maybe Jaren Hall, but I'm sure it'll just be mostly Nick Mullins for Josh Oliver. Number 14, the 14th most player I want to watch is Marcus Davenport. He's our new defensive end from the Saints. He might be playing today, so this is the one I'm a little bit iffy about if he's actually going to play today, but I'm assuming he will just because he's new and he's been hurt in the past few years, so just try to get him back into some NFL action, get him used to the Vikings play style. Also, I'll be excited to see Brian Flores, how he uses this defense. I'm sure he won't do everything special this year during preseason just because you don't want to just give away, obviously, all what you're bringing to a new team in preseason. Number 13, Blake Crowell. He's a pretty good singer, as I've noticed, but he's also a good football player, obviously, playing in the NFL. He came off of an injury last year. He missed the whole year, so he'll be getting his first action this year in a while, and I'm excited to see how he does. Maybe he'll be an Adam Thielen type guy, maybe, where he works his way up, but this wide receiver room is so deep, I just don't feel like it's really going to be easy for anybody to work their way up. I feel like the main people will be Jefferson, Addison, Osborne, Jalen Naylor, and I think Brandon Powell will get the 5th spot this year. I don't know, though, and that's what preseason is going to be really good for watching. I also forgot to put him on this list, but Brandon Powell should also be on here, so I'll just put him in honorable mentions. I'm not going to make a slide for him, but I'm excited to see Brandon Powell. Number 12, Ed Ingram. So he struggled a little bit last year at the beginning. He started to kind of catch on at the end of the year, but he just wasn't good. He stepped on Kirk a few times. That was costly. He's a third round pick last year. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure he's a third round pick. And this is the year where he really proves himself, or we're gonna get a new guy to do the job. And there already have been talks about a new guy getting the job. Dalton Risner is visited the team. The Vikings reportedly have a contract offer on the table for him, but I don't really know if anything's gonna come of that yet. We'll find out later into the year if he's on the team. Number 11, new wide receiver, former first-round pick, 2019. Came from the Patriots, then he went to the Bears, and now he's here. N'Keal Harry. First off, I'll start by saying I'm glad he's not wearing number 28. That went to Copeland instead, Jacob Copeland, who's also new. We have a lot of new players coming in at wide receiver. N'Keal Harry, maybe he'll prove everyone wrong. He's looked like he's had some good catches at practice. Even the night practice I was at on Tuesday, he made a crazy diving catch on the sideline. So with this wide receiver room, like I've said, Rager, Harry, there's just so many people that could easily make this team, but it's kind of their last chance. How many chances do you give guys like Jalen Rager and N'Keal Harry? They were former first-round picks, but both didn't really turn out. And hopefully Jordan Addison doesn't get added to that. I don't think he will, but we'll get to him. For now, I just feel like N'Keal Harry, if he and Jalen Rager, which we'll go to next right now, if he and Jalen Rager are able to make some noise this year during preseason, then they might get their outside chance to get their wide receiver spot. I just think it'll be Brandon Powell, not because he's necessarily better, which he might be, we'll find out in preseason, but he's just more KOC friendly because he came from the Rams. He knows that West Coast kind of offense, whereas guys like Rager and Harry still have to get used to it. And who knows, maybe they do better in that spot. But Rager had a few flashy plays last year, but he also, in that Colts game, he was just, those two missed routes that ended up being picks were just so costly. The one deep route, he just stopped running. You can't do that. And then Kirk, in the quarterback series, Netflix, he seemed to be very frustrated about the one route. So, yeah, this wide receiver room is just so deep. So I'm excited. I'm going to be paying close attention to that. I'll talk about it after the game. But they're just such a deep group where, I don't really know. But we're just going to go to a not-so-deep room in the cornerbacks, which there's 4 people who I think will get that number 2 spot. Number 1 is probably going to be Byron Murphy. I don't really think there's any competition for that. But then out of Mekhi Blackman, Caleb Evans, and Andrew Booth, and Yohan Williams, I just think that second spot is kind of up in the air. Yohan's had some good plays in practice, but I don't really look at practice as a definitive way. Like, for example, a few years ago when Jamar Chase was a rookie, he didn't look too good in preseason or training camp. He had a few bad drops, and he's now arguably a top 5 wide receiver behind JJ, Kupp, Hill, Devontae. He's right in that mix with them. So, yeah. But we're back to our cornerback room. Mekhi Blackman is a rookie 3rd rounder, and he's going to be coming in fighting for that spot. I'm sure he makes the team just because he's a rookie, and he hasn't, from the clips I've seen, he hasn't looked too hot in practice, but like I just talked about, practice doesn't really mean that much to me. So, I hope he does good, but I'm going to be watching him today on the defensive side of the ball, trying to see how he looks and how he fits in. Going to another not-so-deep room, we got Ty Chandler at running back. He was great in preseason last year, and then he got put on IR, and it was out for the year. So, he was really good in preseason, but that second running back spot is just up in the air. Behind Madison, it's not too tight, and it's not too strong of a core. And another guy in that room is Dwayne McBride. He's a rookie that we drafted this year in the 7th round. So he hasn't looked too hot in camp reportedly, but I just talked about it. I'm not going to say it again. I don't really care about camp that much. Preseason's where I'll look at it a little bit more, but that second spot behind Madison's open. I think right now it's in Kenne's hands, but he's hurt right now, and he's been hurt for a little bit longer than expected. and maybe there's an outside chance that he doesn't even make the team, just because we can have, with the new kickoff rules, he's kind of the main kickoff returner, but with the new kickoff rules, like, do you really need that good of a kick returner anymore? Like, obviously it's nice to have, but do you need it? But that's just a thought. I can maybe make a full video on that. I don't know. If it comes up during preseason and it looks like that might be right, then I'll make a video on it. But enough on that. Go to number 6, Kyrus Tonga. So he's probably gonna get that starting nose tackle spot this year. He's looked pretty good. He was good last year. He was a good pickup from the Chicago Bears, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like we would have rather had Dalvin Tomlinson in that spot, but Tonga can definitely be a good starter for years to come. And I understand cutting Dalvin Tomlinson just because he costs a lot of money, obviously, and Tonga's a lot cheaper than that. But now on to number 5, Lewis Cine. Lewis Cine got hurt last year, week 4 in London against the Saints on a punt return, and broke it. It was a pretty bad injury too, but he's looked good at camp. His teammates have even said that they can't even tell that he's hurt, which is a really good sign. So that safety room is pretty good with Harrison Smith, Cameron Bynum, Josh Metellus, Lewis Cine, Jay Ward. Like, they just are a good group. So, I mean, it's going to be hard, which is why I'm going to be paying attention. So, the two groups I'm going to be paying attention, position groups I'm going to be paying attention to this preseason are Lewis Cine and the safeties, and then the wide receivers. So on each side of the ball, that's who I'm going to really be paying attention to. I mean, I really hope Lewis Cine gets a job. First-round pick last year, that would not be a good miss, because you don't want to miss on a first-rounder that can't even get any starts in the NFL. That would not be good, so I really hope he does good. But on to number 4, Brian Asamoah. He's our linebacker. He'll probably be starting with Jordan Hicks. I think he'll be playing the preseason, and 3rd-round pick last year. I have pretty high hopes for him, and we'll get to later Ivan Pace, but I feel like they can both be pretty good linebackers for years to come. Maybe one of them is that Eric Kendricks replacement. I don't know, but it sucks to lose Kendricks, obviously. But these two are younger, cheaper, so again, I get it. So, Asamoah, he's pretty good. He showed flashes last year, and he's my 4th player. Number 3, quarterback Jaren Hall. So, what I've heard so far this camp is that Jaren Hall will be getting a lot of the playing time behind Nick Mullins, who will be going with the 2. Jaren Hall has reportedly looked like a 4th-round pick at camp, which is what he was. Now I'm making me second-guess myself, but I need to look this up. 5th-round pick, yeah, that's why I questioned it. So he's looked like a 5th-round pick. He hasn't been anything special, but he hasn't been horrible. I mean, I really hope that he's good. Maybe we find that Kirk Cousins replacement in there, maybe, but we don't really know. On to number 2, wide receiver, Jordan Addison. So, Addison, obviously, his first impression as a Minnesota Viking wasn't too great with 140, but I mean, he's looked really good at camp, and he has obviously the best wide receiver in the NFL, Justin Jefferson, as a mentor for him. So I have high hopes for Mr. Addison, but I mean, I just really hope the off-the-field stuff isn't really a problem going forward. I have faith that it won't, but we don't know, because I obviously don't know the players personally. I can't make assumptions like that, but I really hope that it's not a problem going forward, and I hope that he got his. Well, I'm just going to say it like it is. I hope the people talk some sense into him, because 140 is crazy. But I just really hope that he does good this preseason. And it is reported that he will play snaps today. Does that mean it'll be a lot? Does that mean it'll be a little? I don't know. But he will be playing today. And now to number 1. Ivan Pace Jr., undrafted, free agent. And he was a steal of a person out of undrafted free agent. I thought that immediately, and he's just looked great in camp so far, so I really hope that he can be good for us. I mean, I have so much hope for him. it's such a low risk, high reward situation with him, and I think that he's looked great. I really hope that continues this preseason. And yeah, thanks for watching this video. I mean, it was pretty fun to make. It's been a while since I've recorded. I understand that, so I apologize for that. But I mean, there wasn't that much in the off season, and it's kind of just I'm not gonna post if I don't actually want to. So I'll be making this. You can expect all the previews to be there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I'll get this up sometime before the game, maybe in an hour. I'm recording this at about 1 o'clock. So see ya.